What's up, guys? Jordan here with Jackson Off-Road, and today I'm giving you my long-term ownership review of this 2004 Honda TRX250EX. If you've ever wondered whether this little sport quad is worth owning in 2025, then this one's for you. Let's check it out.
Floyd County, Indiana. Riding for Jackson Off-Road, Yamaha, and Honda. He is a two-time Pinewood Derby champion. Part-time racer and full-time fun haver. Number 25. Jackson.
All right, now let's get into the durability. The durability on these quads are honestly their biggest strength. The plastics, for being a 2004, have held up phenomenal. There's a couple stitches, but that's to be expected on a quad with this kind of age on it. I've owned a few quads. I can't really say a lot compared to some of my buddies, but I've owned a few, and this is one of the easiest machines to work on ever. It's so simple. Keep oil in it, keep gas in it, it will continue to run. So the 250EX is basically the definition of bulletproof. Honda designed this machine with new riders in mind, but it still has enough character to keep the experienced riders smiling and laughing just as much. I've owned this machine for a little while, a little over a year now. Pushed it through the trails, off a couple small jumps, through the mud, and some questionable decisions might have been made during that. Here's basically what I've learned in that year. Let's talk about the power plant of this mean beast. The TRX250EX runs a 229cc air-cooled single cylinder with Honda's sport clutch system. It's not fast, but it's fun. Power delivery is super predictable, perfect for trail riding and for teaching any beginners. All right, now let's get into the suspension, because this is one area where the TRX250EX really benefits from some upgrades. Stock suspension on a 250EX is fine for casual trail riding, but once you start riding harder, it bottoms out easy and just can't keep up. That's where I upgraded to the Diamond J custom setup. I'm running their Diamond J Plus shocks along with their lowering and widening kit, and honestly, it transforms the quad. The shocks are way more controlled, especially on landings and through some fast chop. You don't get that pogo stick bouncy feel you get with the stock suspension. The lowering and widening kit is a huge improvement as well. The stance is wider, way more planted, and way more confidence inspiring for newer riders. It also helps a ton with stability when you're hitting jumps, although for a full-grown man, probably shouldn't hit jumps on this thing. It bottoms out really bad. Diamond J Customs makes a setup that completely changes the feel of this machine, and I honestly highly recommend it. Maybe not for the bigger machines, but for this one, it's perfect. Now let's go over all the other mods and upgrades, none of which that I have done have been for more power, which is basically all that's left and all this thing really needs. But does it really? It's just for fun. It's not out there racing. So first thing I did was set of new tires. Used the factory rims, got a hold of the Alba Racing RMAT MX rippers. They're not going to be as durable as an XC tire, but I saved a lot of weight. And this thing desperately needed that. If you wanted, you could go with an aftermarket exhaust, which my understanding wakes these things up a lot. I have not done that. The price, the juice just didn't worth the squeeze. However, I did change the jetting on the carb and put a airbox mod from Carolina Quad Concepts on this thing, and even just that really helped it out. Runs a lot better. Definitely makes maybe 1 horsepower more. But other than that, just the suspension, as I talked on before, and Nerf bars with some tires. That's really all it needed. The Nerf bars, XFR makes a set. I can't recommend them enough. They are absolutely awesome Nerf bars. And sorry, it is a little bit dirty, but that's what happens when you ride them, right? Now let's talk some ergonomics and overall comfort. The seating position is pretty comfortable. As you can see here, I'm seated on the machine. I am about 5'11", 6 foot-ish, depending on what shoes I'm wearing. And you know, I can move around on the machine okay. The bars don't come down into your knees as bad as you would think, and even if they do, they make risers. Okay, so we've touched on what I've done with it and what I've done to it. But who's this thing really for? Because it's obviously not for a 30-year-old man, although it can be ridden by a 30-year-old man. This thing is absolutely for beginners. Just somebody that's either older that's getting into it, or even just a younger child that they're moving up from that TRX90 and they want to go onto something that is going to feel the same, but you can set up a little bit better, like the widening kit and the suspension, to give them that 450 feel without 450 power, and without having them to get used to that, along with operating a clutch. So they've got that learner clutch on the 250EX. The EX is just the sport clutch, which AKA means no clutch. You just shift it like it's a TRX90. Like I said, it can be ridden by adults on trails as just a little fun toy. It's a laugh maker. It's not going to win any races. It's not the most accurate handling machine I own by any means, but is it fun? Absolutely. But is it for kids? 200%. Overall, the 2004 TRX250EX is one of the best starter quads you could ever buy. It's reliable, it's easy to ride, easy to fix, it's still a blast 20 years later. As an owner, I can say it's a quad that just makes you want to get out and do some riding. If you enjoyed this ownership review, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more, and make sure to follow Jackson Off-Road for more builds, reviews, and a whole lot of riding. I'll see you on the next ride. Peace.
YouTube.com